Hey guys, I'm gonna just do a really quick one pencil drawing. This is just with a very cheap pencil. It's like $1 or $2. I get asked a lot about tools, especially on my Instagram page, and so I figured I'll do a drawing that anybody can have the pencil to do. So single pencil, it's just a 0.5 millimeter HB pencil. You can probably pick this up at the dollar store. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a quick Batman, because Batman's awesome. Alright, so first off, I'm going to just try to get the shape of the head here. Okay, I like 3/4 shots mostly for Batman. I think it works well with this cowl. And just it's a little more exciting than straight on or full side. Alright. I'm going to do this very quick. This is going to be like a 10-minute drawing, so I'm not going to go too crazy with any detail. Alright, so I got the 3/4 shape of his head here. I got to figure out where his eyes are going to be. I'll probably make a lot of shadows, so I might not even show his eyes, but I need to know where they are still. It's always important to figure out the shape of the face and make sure you've got everything sized properly before you start putting details down. You want to just go straight into the details and then find out your nose is too long or too short, or your eyes are in the wrong spot. So it's always good to just figure it all out first before you put any detail down. Because even right now I can see the shape of the chin is wrong, so I'm going to adjust the shape of the chin. Alright, his ears here. That'll show through the cowl a bit. And just already I can see his head shape is a little bit off, so adjust the top of his head. Okay. Alright. Bit of an egghead. One of the problems I have when I try to do these videos is the actual camera is where my head would normally be. So I'm kind of drawing it from a different angle. And often when I'm done, I'll look at the drawings and go, oh man, that's all wrong. It's because my perspective that I'm looking at the paper from has impacted the actual drawing. So hopefully I'll try to mitigate that by being a bit more careful. Okay, I think I've got the basic shape down. Alright, so let's get started. So his cowl comes here, go it there. You can draw his cowl lots of different ways. I like to give it this little opening on the side here. I figure that's more realistic. The space here would allow his jaw to move up and down a bit more. At least I think it would. I've never worn a bat cowl, so I could be wrong. But I'll just guess that that's how it would work. Okay, so it's Batman. He has to have a pretty square jaw. Definitely, when you're doing a character like Batman, it is okay to exaggerate a bit. Give him that perfect square jaw. It can make it a little even unnatural. It's better to have it too square than not square enough, because you want him to convey strength, even with the little piece of his face that's showing. And always with the scowl, so get those really strong brows on the mask. Very important. I'm not a fan of Happy Batman. Not sure if I'm gonna let this eye show or not. I'll just leave it in there for now. I might just color the whole thing in later if it's not working. Now, if you have access to a better pencil, I highly recommend you use it, but the kind of point of this video is just to draw something with a single, fairly crappy pencil. Just to show that, you know, tools aren't everything. I do a lot of digital artwork, and definitely I get a lot of comments. A lot of people think that, oh, it's digital, so anybody can do it, or because I've got a nice tablet, all of a sudden it kind of means that the drawing isn't worth anything, because the tablet did all the work. And that is definitely not how it works. You still have to draw it, whether you're using a real pencil or a stylus. Still takes work to get those lines down, to figure out where things go. Thicken up his neck a bit. Alright. Yeah, this pencil's pretty awful. I might actually just prove the opposite of what I was trying to prove here and do an awful drawing, but it's okay, I'll keep going. Hopefully it's not a total loss. But definitely this pencil, it's just so soft that it's very hard to put any kind of fine details down. So maybe in my next video I'll use a $2 pencil. Alright, now this Batman's definitely nowhere near angry enough looking. So let's crease the brow. I like putting lots of lines. That always helps. You want to make somebody look angry, but a lot of lines around their eyes. Okay, I'm going to just put even more shadows on the side of his face here. If you look through my drawings, you'll see that I'm totally inconsistent on my Batman. I'll make his ears short, I'll make them long, I'll make them curved forwards and backwards. It kind of all depends on the drawing. Obviously, if somebody's actually working on a Batman comic, you need to be consistent. People will expect a certain style, but for me, I'm always kind of experimenting. Because I'm just doing this for fun, I don't really need to be consistent. Because it might be a little boring. I still haven't really figured out my favorite way to draw. So, if you have a preference, let me know. Because I sure don't. Okay. All right. I should fill that eye in or not. You know what? I'm gonna just fill the eyes in because those eyes are holding me back. Once I fill the eyes in, I won't feel bad about laying down even more shadows. So I want this to look a little darker, a little more intimidating. All right, so that would mean shadows here, more shadows here. Shadows around his jowls here. More shadows under his lip. Shadow here at the edge of his lip here. Some of his cape. The bat symbol. I'm going to try to be accurate here. The more accurate I try to be, the worse everything will look, because then it'll be more obvious where the things that are inaccurate. So I try to keep it really loose and sloppy. That's a good way to camouflage all the mistakes, because there is a ton of them. All right. Definitely struggling with this angle. The placement of this camera is really not great. I'll have to figure out a better solution for this. Alright. What I actually do in my my digital videos when I'm drawing on a tablet is I actually use a bit of an off angle, and I'll actually go to Adobe Premiere software that I have a Adobe CC subscription, and I basically distort the video back into the right shape to compensate for the fact that it's being filmed off on a slight angle. And that's what allows me to kind of make those videos where the camera is straight on, because if I actually filmed from that angle I wouldn't be able to see the tablet. The camera would be right in front of my face. But with sketching it's a little bit tougher. I don't think I'd have that option, just because I think the size of the paper and the closeness of the camera would not allow me to do the same thing. It would just look very unnatural. Alright, okay, I'm gonna just do a couple more lines here. If I was using multiple pencils, I'd use a smudge stick or something probably to lay down a very light base, and that would allow me to get nicer contrast between the different shades without being too big an effort. But I'm not doing that. Another thing too is I'm trying to draw without putting my hands in front of the picture, which is also a bit awkward. But otherwise you won't be able to see what I'm drawing. So it's definitely a bit of a challenge trying to make these videos still produce something that doesn't look awful. And I think I may have not succeeded, because this is not really turning out so great, but that's okay. So here in the neck here, you've got basically all these thick muscles around the neck that are coming this way, and then you've got veins going this way. And it's a good place to try to show some tension. Yeah, of course these things wouldn't actually show through the cowl, but artists still draw them in because they look cool. This chest here. A bit more angle on this eyebrow. Trying to build up a bit of shades here. I said, this pencil is very soft, so it's really tough to put any kind of fine detail down. Even though it's only a 0.5 millimeter, you think you'd be able to actually get the detail, but just when you put the lines down, they just kind of all blend into each other. All right. More shadows in here. Get a shape to, or at least the illusion of some shape into this cape. Okay, I'm already noticing a whole bunch of proportional issues just because of where my head is. I'm going to move my head around and stand up now, try to look at this from a different angle. Yeah, I can see that there's definitely some issues over here. You know what, I'm just going to leave them for now. Let me try to tilt them this way. Okay, and let's try to get some dark lines here. Still using the same pencil, just pushing a little harder. Trying to get a bit more darkness without actually breaking the pencil. The problem with this, if I make one area too dark and everything else all of a sudden gets thrown off, so now I gotta go back and go to all the other spots. There we go, broken pencil. All the other spots where it's supposed to be equally dark. And try to bring them up to the same level. Yeah, see here the lead here scratched the paper, so that's gonna be a problem now, trying to hide that. So it's not really good to push hard with these very fine pencils. End up creating some unwanted shadows where the pencil digs into the paper too much. Okay. I want definitely the area around the eyes to be the darkest. Okay, maybe I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Call it quits. That's 19 minutes. It's twice as long as I wanted to spend. But that's okay. Hopefully it's still worth sharing. Let me know if you think this was a worthwhile video or not. And for my next one, I think I'll try to do something that's a bit more polished than this. So play on the drawing. This is just something, basically just throwing a pencil down and not actually thinking about what I'm going to draw. And this is what I ended up with. Okay. Alright. Thanks, guys. Let me know what you'd like to see next, or what kind of drawings you'd like to see, if there's any kind of special tutorials you'd like me to do or cover anything, whether it's markers, digital, pencil, watercolor, you name it, and I'll be happy to do it. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I appreciate all your likes and subscriptions and comments, and just let me know what you'd like to see more of, and I'll do my best to provide it for you guys. Alright, Thank you. Bye-bye.